გამარჯობა, მე ეკო ვარ. ეს Leo.Institute-ის პოდკასტია. დღეს ჩვენი სტუმარია ანა კოენი, რომელიც Leo.Institute-ის თანადამფუძნებელი და ასევე Leo.Institute-ის წამყვანი ფასილიტატორია. დღეს ვისაუბრებთ ურთიერთობებზე. ურთიერთობებზე, რომელიც მნიშვნელოვნად განსაზღვრავს ჩვენი ცხოვრების ხარისხს და იმას, თუ როგორ განვიცდით ყოველდღიურად ჩვენს ცხოვრებას. So Anna, I took several days to decide what our topic for discussion we would like to have. While thinking, I thought let's talk about relationships because for me personally, it's like this. At the end of the day, when my husband asks me how's your day? Or even I ask myself how's my day? The answer I have is mostly related with the relationships, with the connections and interactions I had with people. So basically, the quality of my day and in general my life, I think, is strongly linked with the quality of relationships I have with the different people. So for me, relationships are very, very core of life. How is it for you?
I totally agree. I actually think that the first thing that happens when you are born, when you are conceived, actually, it's the start of a relationship. You need two cells that are different, that meet, and that unity of two cells, male and female, find home in a human being. And from that moment, there is a relationship. So it's like we are born into a relationship. We think, and certainly the relationship with the mother is the main one we have at the beginning when we are born. But before that, we have a relationship within that human being. So it's like we are made of relationships.
Yes, it's like life starts.
Life starts
in or from or within
from a relationship. Yeah. So for me, really, it is a basic part of our life. As you say, at the end of the day, I would also speak of people and food. But then food is also a relationship, isn't it? If it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's tricky that, when we're not fulfilled or satisfied with the relationships with the different people, all of us has different strategies. I don't like my colleague, for example, or I don't like the neighbor who lives next to my door. I will just stop having any kind of interaction with him or with her. Or some other might have some different strategies. But when it comes to the closest ones, the people who are part of our life, like family members, it can be parents, it can be, I don't know, the friends we want to have in our life. This is where it becomes difficult, right? When the relationship doesn't go well, you don't have a choice to throw them away. So
somehow a society allows us to throw away a spouse.
Okay.
But still, I mean,
yes,
if you have kids with that person, you still need a relationship. But what about the kids? What about parents? And what I have, but I see in all the seminars we do, the main issues we have are actually with the people that are close to us. because we live with them, and life together brings up, common things. And as we are different, then that's where it becomes not smooth, let's say.
Yeah.
It's not that we are unhappy, but little fights, let's say,
Yeah.
are ordinary. And what really I discovered through Leo methodology is that I can stay with my husband although he's so different, and we have opposite ideas on basically everything on the surface. But on the surface is the daily life. So he wants hot, I want cold. He wants, that's how it always is. He wants a lot of light. I prefer, smooth lights. And so everything could be a reason to discuss, or even fight. So I discovered that we can meet somewhere if we both use the methodology, which I could summarize as each person is in their own box, what we call ego box, and made of beliefs, made of habits, made of worries, up to fears, and the boxes don't meet. And there is a space outside of each box where we can meet. This is what we teach people. I mean, we share how to do this. There is a space outside of each one's box where those differences can be not compromised, but where both needs or wishes can be met. It's someone can say, how can you do that without compromise? I don't know. It's an experience really that you discover. I don't know how it works, but outside of the box, you find the space, this beautiful space, creative space. Yeah, space and state, where you find a solution, you find a way. So this is what we do. And this is for any person that we meet, also neighbors. And also, I'm moving to Georgia and I have issues with the new house. And it's difficult because I don't speak Georgian, but I have to solve. And if I go box against box, I will not find a solution, and the person will also not provide help. So it's really a set of tools that allow you to have pleasant and close relationship. I don't know which adjective to use for the different situations, but I actually just came out of a shop where I used the tools to find a solution with the seller. And
this relationship is like everywhere.
I will never meet this person anymore, but I am finding the solution for the problem I have. And for the others that I live with, of course, there it's even more important because I cannot divorce from my kids. Yeah. So I don't have parents anymore, unfortunately. But I see how much I could find ways to complete or heal the little things that happen, and even the big things, because we have many things left unsaid from the past with our parents, for example. Often, not all, but often. And that also is part of what we share. How do you do that?
Yeah. So there are a lot of things to discuss, but the most juicy and interesting part, I think, still is relationship with spouse.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people attending the seminar and starting working on themselves and really transforming the way they are in the relationship with their partners. Some of them have more clarity that this needs to be stopped, and they make a clear decision. And some of them see this second breeze or something coming inside, and this alternative way of having the relationship. But this starts with awareness, right? Like awareness, what doesn't work, why it doesn't work. So what are the where does the difficulties in the romantic relationship especially come from? What's your personal experience, and also what you have observed?
Yeah. So first, I would really like to say that we actually suggest couples to come together. Often they say, no, because I want to do my seminar alone, otherwise I cannot speak. So we have a structure that allows to speak. So it's safe. And we really suggest couples to come together because they can start this journey together and then see what to do with it. This is one thing. And we had couples who came because they wanted to divorce. And they came to see if, maybe this is the last chance we find something. And they found it. Not all of them, but many just discovered that, and this is the answer to the second thing you said, each human being develops their own standard of what love is. And this comes from the events we experience as kids, often before the age of 7. So something happens, and you draw a conclusion that, oh, this is what love is. And then for your whole life, you chase this specific way of being loved and of loving, because it goes both ways.
Yeah. Can I bring my example?
You can.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I remember one of the most positive and the shiny event in my childhood was, so we spent our summer holidays in Raja. It's a region countryside, and so my bed was next to the window, and the window was looking at the garden where my grandfather would have cucumbers. I know you have a negative event.
I don't like cucumbers because of some event.
Yeah. So I remember I opened my eyes, I look through the window, and I see my grandfather. He just took this very fresh cucumber with a beautiful smell, and it was so tasty. And he gave it to me through the window, and I ate it, and it was like...
this is love.
Yes, this is everything. Actually, not just a love. Yeah. So for me, heaven. Love, how I experience love and how I want to be loved is very much related to this peaceful, harmonic, and very simple, natural, way of relationship. And I'm lucky that my husband has some very similar
I'm going to give another example, which is mine, which is completely different. I was asked as a kid not to waken nobody on Sunday mornings, but I would go to bed very early, so I would also wake up very early. So they wanted to sleep. And they, I was taught, you take your dolls and you go in the living room. You close the door and there you can play quietly.
Mm-hmm.
So the living room was a special place because it was forbidden for kids. We could only play in our room. So it was something special that I could go there alone and play with my dolls. And for me, that is love. Being able to be on my own, do my things.
Mm-hmm.
So I very much appreciate to have my space. And I actually need it to recharge. So of course, to make it more fun, I found a husband who has a completely different event. As he was a lonely child, he loved to sleep with someone, to have someone. Yeah. And so for him, love is staying together.
Yeah.
So you understand, these two ways of loving are completely different. Now, where issues come. So I love that way. So I also leave him, alone, because I think that's how love is.
Yes.
And he comes and asks me, do you need help? Can I help you? Can I? And so when he does that, I feel suffocated. And he feels abandoned. So when two different events, which means conclusions, which means standards of love, meet, at the beginning of a relationship, those things don't exist. You're in love, flowers, bees.
Yeah.
Those things just don't come out. But after some time, the love of the beginning disappears. And you need to find something else, because these differences then show.
Yeah.
And that's where it becomes difficult. So it's not, as we say in our seminars, it's not that they don't love you. And this is the same with parents, with anyone.
Yeah.
It's not only the couple, we are focusing on the couple, but if this is how you want to be loved because of an event with a grandfather and your parents don't love you that way, you don't feel loved.
Yeah.
But it's not that you are not loved. You don't feel loved, which is different. They are loving their way, but we don't feel it because it is like a different language.
Yeah, you speak
it's like language. You tell me
in Italian.
I tell you ti amo. Well, now Italian maybe it's renowned, but if you tell me I love you, yes, I don't know what you're saying. So it's exactly like we are talking two different languages. So in our methodology, we teach people a common language, which is outside of those two different languages, like a universal language that works for everyone, which is in this space outside of each one's box. It's like there is a language that anyone can understand. It's like music. Music without words.
Yeah,
anyone can hear it, appreciate it, or hate it, but anyone can at least understand it. It's universal. So this space that exists and can be reached any moment is available for everyone. And in this space, these differences do not matter anymore. So it's a space where you can meet anyone. And
we call this space actually love based, right?
Yeah.
There's a fear based and there is a love based.
yes, and it's well.
I think it's good if we go deeper with
Yes,
these two states.
we can go
Yeah.
there. The box is created by fear since childhood. We need to be loved in order to survive. And so it's very important that our parents or the people around us care for us. But, just giving us food and shelter is not enough. There are many studies in orphanages where they did something awful because they experimented on kids. But they saw that kids who had no connection with a human being, okay, they were fed, they were covered, there was a house, but at some point they would die. Because love is essential for our species, for Homo sapiens. Those who survived didn't live well. So it's a basic need for human beings. So once we understand how to get it, we create this box that is made of, I must be, I must behave, I must help, I must be smart, I must be beautiful, I must be funny. All those ways that our parents or grandparents or friends expect from us. And we shape ourselves that way to be loved. Or love, we say love, but it can be praise, can be appreciation, can be respect. Okay, so we all put everything in this basket of love. And this box, therefore, is created out of fear.
Of not
being loved.
Yeah.
That's all. That's how the frame of the box is made and maintained daily, and even at night. I have observed my dreams, and I have seen that the same shape I need to have
in your dreams,
in my in my daily life with people, I need to have also in my dreams. So it's a real nightmare, even if with beautiful dreams.
So it means that it's unconscious, right?
It is unconscious. It's always there. I would even say it's biological. Somehow we have absorbed a way of being. But outside of the box, there is this other space that we have experienced many times. Walking in the beautiful mountains without having to reach the top, just enjoying the scenery, not thinking of anything, just enjoying the place. And you see that all thoughts go, all worries go. You're just there. Or we also say, when you hold the baby and the baby doesn't expect anything from you. You just connect to the baby. Well, that beautiful space of connection, love, of course, peace, joy. That's what we talk about. So there is someone who said, what is the opposite of fear? Well, the opposite of fear is love. Where there is love, there is no fear. So this is the space we're talking about, and it's a space of contribution, of fulfillment, where you exist as a human being for who you are, as a human being, as a unique human being, with your own qualities and abilities that you can use without the fear of others not seeing it, or you just use them because you have them.
Yes.
You are them.
I would also add that even in this space where there in the state where there is love and this connection and you're yourself and etc., fears come, right? Because we're
Yes.
human being. Like
Yes.
there's always something going on in our mind.
Yeah.
But the way we deal with these fears is different, right?
Yes, totally. So fears are essential to life because that's how Homo sapiens survived, thanks to the fear and the way our survival system deals with it. While other species disappeared because their survival system was not as sensitive as ours. So it is very important to have fear because it helps survival. I give you an example. My sister had a very, very bad car accident and she stayed 4 months in the hospital. She was in a coma and so on. So she bumped, and so she was damaged in her brain. And she cannot feel pain anymore physically. And which also is useful because it means what you're doing must not be done if you want your body, to stay well. So she discovered that, so on one side, this helped her recover because she couldn't feel the pain. But then one day she poured the coffee from the mocha on her hand by mistake, and she couldn't feel. So she got burned, and she knew she should feel pain, but she couldn't.
Yeah.
So same for fear. Or one day, she had a very bad cough. She went to the doctor, and the doctor said, "Why did you wait so much?"
Yeah.
And she just went because she couldn't sleep anymore. But she was all inflamed, but she couldn't feel the pain. So they are essential to survival. If a car is coming towards us very fast, you need to run. It's the fear making you run. It's not thinking. You sense the danger and you just run. So it's very important. The issue is that we only have one survival system for all fears. So it is activated every time we sense this danger. But now we have many dangers coming from especially relationships. So a very, very common example, you send a message, they read it. And seen, but they don't answer.
Yeah.
That's where there is a kind of danger. Because in order to have this survival system very effective, we always go for the worst case scenario. So we don't think, oh, he read it. We're women, so let's speak about our spouses, men. He read it and someone asked him something, he couldn't answer right away. And then he forgot. We don't think this. We think, who is he with? This is one. Or he's not answering.
Yeah.
Which then we take like, he's not respecting me. But he's not respecting me is immediately translated unconsciously like he doesn't love me.
Yeah.
So our life is full of these little messages not answered, right?
When we mention this word fear at the seminar or during the coaching or whatever, especially in Georgia, it's like it sounds very big. Like
Yes.
fear is like, oh, I have fear of, darkness or speed or whatever. But when
These
it's,
little things are not called fear.
yes.
Yeah. So we have this issue in Georgia that we had to find other words.
Yeah, because we're fearless people.
Yes, exactly. And
but actually the fear has a different forms,
yes,
right?
the
love.
worry is
The
a
discomfort coming, you don't
it's
feel
a little
good.
fear. So let's say to simplify, we call all those things love and all these things fear.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be worry, can be a little anxiety, a little nervousness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it exists in English, but when you're a little nervous, at the back of that, there is the fear of not being loved.
Yeah.
It's not direct.
Yes.
There are passages, but it goes back to that little child having to be loved in order to survive. So that's why when something like this happens, we get so angry.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's biologically, we really feel like, I'm going to die.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that in the relationship, when I have some kind of discomfort, either to myself or with the person I'm in this relationship, any kind of discomfort, we can name it as one of the forms of fear.
A fear of not being loved. Yes, I would name some. I am angry, upset, irritated, nervous, anxious, worried.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you actually covered.
I I probably forgot some, but this is
it's
daily.
Daily life.
Daily life. So all those show you that just before something happened that triggered this fear of not being loved.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it also works in other kind of relationship, at work, with a colleague. Of course, there, if you think a fear of not being loved, it's weird. It sounds weird. But not being respected, not being listened, not being understood, not being trusted.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all forms of what biologically we call love. That need of being loved that assures our survival.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are biologically, we are like animals.
Mm-hmm.
So our body works like animal's body.
Yeah.
We have something more, which is our neocortex. Most animals don't have it, although the most sophisticated ones have. But we have, as beings, living beings, let's say like this, living beings, we are the most sophisticated ones. But our body still responds to these animal how do I say, stimuli,
Mm-hmm.
It's not different. Actually, when there is a fear, we disconnect our brain in order to face the fear, the danger.
Mm-hmm.
So we become only animals because we lose this part which is specific of human beings. Yes. We become like monkeys. Yeah. Let's say, with all respect with monkeys. I don't want to. Yeah. I have a lot of respect for cats. For me, they are very smart, They really decide to do some nasty things, and for dogs, they are really lovable. But you see, human beings have all those things at the maximum extent.
Mm-hmm.
So our issue is that we are not animals anymore. So when someone doesn't answer our message, we take it as a danger of not being loved. Animals don't send messages, so they have one problem less.
Yeah. So the goal of this podcast is to share with the wider audience how the self-mastery, personal mastery, personal development, or working on yourself can actually better your life.
Yeah.
And as we were talking about the relationships now, how this process can better your relationship, make it more, fulfilling and joyful, and have the deeper connection with the person you are with. So what's your I wouldn't say the recipe, because we are saying that we don't give recipes, but my perspective is that the first step usually is to name all the things that to name, to let's say label somehow, okay, I have this discomfort in the relationship. I hate when he's giving me so my mindset sees every his comment when we are arguing or something like that he's judging me, and he kind of tries to fix my mistakes or something like that. But a couple of days ago, we had a discussion on this, and we just found out that it's totally different. Yeah, it's like my system is reacting in that way. Like my box has no tolerance to
judgment.
Judgment. So, but then when I feel judged, I also start pushing him, and then it becomes a mess.
Yeah. So first I would say personal mastery is the mastery of your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you feel something, but when that happens, you think he is judging me.
Mm-hmm.
So until you keep that thought, it will be the mess, because you need to respond to that thought, because you are in actual danger.
Mm-hmm.
I hope we explained enough that physically, biologically, as a human being, I think I'm going to die.
Mm-hmm.
This is it. That's why I defend myself so hard.
Mm-hmm.
So the personal mastery is the mastery of the thoughts. There are two things. Yes, we usually start by naming those things, like, I am being I think I'm judged now. So at least you can, as you said, label it.
Yeah.
For me, it's the fear of being rejected.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even need to go to someone telling me something. If I enter the room and someone doesn't smile, for me, that is already a sign, this person is rejecting me. Mm-hmm. It's enough. The person is maybe busy doing other things and they don't want to smile, or I don't know. But in my survival system, this is what is happening, So this is my case. If you can name things, you can observe them. So one is naming them, and a part of the work we do is to name them, which means to bring them to awareness.
Yes.
And then a part of the work is to observe what is happening. Because as it is an automatic system, it usually happens before you even think about it.
Mm-hmm. Somewhere in the background, it's
automatic and unconscious. So when you make it conscious, you have a chance to spot it, usually how it works is you spot it just afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you continue and you spot it as it is happening.
Yeah.
And then you continue, observing, working on yourself, using self-mastery. And you spot it just before it happens. There you have a chance. Even when it's in the middle, you have a chance to stop.
Yeah.
You know, in the middle of the sentence, you stop. And you say, hold on. This is not what I want.
You know, sometimes this situation, like it feels so true
That
that
you believe
he's
it's true.
judging me.
Yes.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm aware that now I feel that I'm judged because of the mistakes that
Yes.
I've made. I'm aware, but then I'm trying to, think now you're in the system and you're reactive and there's a fear coming and all the self-mastery stuff is there to support me. But still the situation feels so much, real.
Yeah. So it's what we call belief.
Belief, yeah.
The belief is a thought, he's judging me,
Yes,
that we believe true.
yes.
That's why it becomes reality.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I go back to the worst case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
We need to think the worst in order to be ready for the danger.
Mm-hmm.
So I am ready for the worst. If less happens, I was ready for the worst, I'm ready for the less.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm ready for less and then the worst comes, there I'm really in danger. So our system always thinks worse than it is. I would say, we say, 95% of the time I am wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Statistically, unfortunately, I would even have to say 99% of the time, I am thinking either something wrong or much worse than it is.
Yeah.
So we don't give recipes. We actually don't believe there are recipes because this space out of the box, which is the creative space, if it is creative, it cannot have recipes. So today it's happening and I find one way to deal with that. Tomorrow it's happening the same with the same person. I find another way. That's why it's creative. I never know what is appropriate. I need to go out of the box and discover it there.
So going out of the box, like it sounds, surreal or something like that. So what's do we actually mean by that?
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the walls of the box are made of fear. We had a seminar yesterday and I said to this woman who was talking about what we're talking, relationship in couple. And she could see how the fear was preventing her from reaching this space. And I said, but it's true that those walls are made of fear, but they're made of paper. They're not made of brick. It looks like from inside they are very solid, but you can put your finger in it and go on the other side. I think this is the best way to describe what needs to be done. It's to go through these walls of fear.
Yeah. So basically go through the fear. And also I like this kind of visualization. We say that the thoughts that actually are fears, and fears are thoughts, they're like clouds, right?
Yeah.
They're coming in, going
and they
out.
go.
Yes.
And then you change thought and everything changed.
Yeah.
So I give an example. You are in a queue and which is not pleasant in itself, and someone behind you bumps into you, like they are pushing you. Usually, we don't like it. We feel, upset right immediately. Are they pushing me? Do they want to overcome? Yeah. So you already have a reaction. This is the survival system. How do they dare?
They don't respect me.
They don't respect me, or they don't respect rules,
Oh, these Georgians, they don't know how to stand in the queue. I live in the terrible country.
In Italy, it's the same. So it means your survival system has been activated because you're angry, upset, nervous, all those things, irritated.
Mm-hmm.
You turn and you see that the person is blind.
Mm-hmm.
What happens? It melts like snow in the sun. Because you understand, she didn't see me. Actually, you might even have a movement of, let me help the person. This is an example of something that you believed totally, and you would have acted. Actually, when you turn, you're ready to shout to the person and say something, right? But when you see they are blind, you might even feel ashamed. But this is not the point. The point is, another thought comes and the emotion changes.
Yeah.
I'm not upset anymore. I understand. I even help. This is exactly the example. The issue is that my husband is not blind.
Yeah, it's not so obvious, but still, you have your perspective, you have your worst case scenario about him doing something.
Yeah.
But the reality in 99%.
I have an example just happened. I can use, dear husband, don't be upset. I'm using all our examples. So I'm in this shop to solve this thing. And I need to know if I am available on Thursday. But I don't have my agenda. I still use, paper agenda.
Mm-hmm.
So I call him and I say, please look in my agenda if on Thursday there is something, because I don't remember. So I have in my box being perfect and efficient. So I expect others also to be efficient. How long does it take to open, find the date and look?
Yeah.
I don't know how long I waited, but a long time, because my system was activated.
Yes.
So he's not answering. And I say, come on, you just have to open the page and look if there is something. And there he says, I was looking at the year plan. Of course, I don't write my appointments in the year plan because there is not enough space. So I said, look in the page. But I was pissed off. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say pissed off, but I said it. Because I didn't have time. I was solving something difficult. So for me, it was, 5 seconds, you open, you find the page, there is nothing. Thank you, I said. And that's it.
Yeah.
But I was, my system was saying, how can he not find the page and read?
And actually life is, and the relationship is like set of these...
Full of these things.
Yeah, and full of these moments.
So and now I'm out of the box. I'm here talking to you and it's pleasant. and I can understand now that I'm out of the box, that he was looking in another place.
Mm-hmm. And it's absolutely okay that it took some time. Yeah.
Yes, but at that moment, with the tension of having to solve the taxi coming, having to come here on time, possibly. And I was reactive. I was. And so I said, come on, And so this is, our daily life in a couple is filled with these things.
I was observing, and I think we were discussing it with someone, I don't remember, that, in each moment, so this relationship, it doesn't matter, it's a romantic or with a colleague or whatever, is a life process, It's a lively, or how would you say that it's life?
I would say that life is made of relationship, as we started with.
No, not life, but itself, the relationship is a lively process, It's, okay, I'm gonna
Yes, I understand.
Explain.
It's like ongoing.
Ongoing, yeah.
I understand. Yeah.
So it means that in each moment, either you're closer to the person, or you have
you're separated.
Like comparing it to the I don't know, the minute before.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying. So it seems like it needs a nurture, right? Because if you want to have a close relationship with the person, in each moment there is something you can do to like maintain it, to don't have the distance, and to keep this. To get closer, let's say like this, because it's, I don't know, for me it's like it's nurturing my soul, and it is source for a lot of things.
You make me think of two things. When a baby is born, you nurture. You give what is needed. Very soon, when they get some independence, they start walking or talking, we start expecting things. Don't touch that. Do this, wear this.
Oh, yeah.
So it starts very early, that the kind of unconditional relationship we had, we lose it. And we lose it with our kids. How can we have it with someone who is a grown-up, So there is something there. So it's not easy to find this, because, I cannot sleep for nights for my baby, but can I do that for my spouse?
Yeah.
Maybe not. So I am able to do it, because if I could do it for my baby, I can do it. I know how to do it. But then it changes, because I'm expecting something.
Yes.
While from the baby, I am not expecting to be loved. I'm speaking of the first month. I am not expecting to be loved. I am loving. I am caring, right? That's the difference. It's coming from me to the baby. When they grow up, and even more when they are adults, somehow I lose that, because I am expecting something for me. Now I can help you, but then will you help me? So this is one thing.
Or I want you to be happy because I want to be happy.
Yes, also, yes. Even, saying, I want you to be happy. Well, yes, if the person doesn't want, they are free not to be happy, aren't they? Some don't want. So respecting this, and the second image that I had was the image of a seed. The relationship is a seed. You put it in the earth, it's not enough. First, you need to put it in the earth.
Yeah.
And it's not enough. It needs water, it needs sun, it needs rain, and then it needs to clean, otherwise the grass will suffocate it.
Yeah.
So that's a relationship. It's not that you put the seed, done.
Yeah. And it leads me to the next question. In the methodology, we have this, how to say, it's not a concept, it's actually the
tool?
process or tool. And we call it healing.
Yeah.
because what you just said, that it needs to be nurtured, right?
Yes.
Because it's a lively process and it's a seed, and there is a grass coming either from me or from you, whatever.
Yes.
So there's something that I can do in each moment that can nurture this relationship,
Yeah.
right? To make it, I don't know, deeper, closer, to bring each other on a more like connected level of
Yeah.
whatever. So what's this? I mean, it's a beautiful word in English. In Georgian, we used to say გაჯანსაღება, გამთლიანება, but still I like it განკურნება. So healing is განკურნება, and it's
Yeah.
a beautiful word, really. It's for you and for the other person
And
also.
for both, because a relationship is always two,
Yeah.
at least two. So we call this healing the relationship. It doesn't mean healing the whole of the relationship, but all these little things happening can be healed, so you don't accumulate baggage.
Yeah, grass.
It's like
Yeah.
cleaning. It's the same, I clean because if I leave it there, I leave it under the carpet. At some point, the carpet is 1 meter high, and it doesn't work. That's where you start saying things that then you will regret. So it's like cleaning. It's like completing. It's like the relationship is not complete, whole, if there is no little or big healings, what we call healing. So let me give an example I explained about what happened with my agenda with my husband before. So if I leave it there, it stays there in me and in him. Even if it's a little thing and you say, okay, it's nothing, So what can I do? I can call if I don't meet him or when I see him and say, listen, I was reactive. I was in a hurry. I needed to find a solution. And I pushed you. I didn't speak as I want. This is not what I want for our relationship. I apologize. That's it. That's it. This is a healing of something I did that I don't want it in my relationship. But sometimes healing is also that the person did something good. So I'm thinking of my colleagues who created a part of the seminar, which for me is a beautiful process, and I haven't said it. And I can go to them and say, I really love this process you have created. I think it works beautifully. It's effective. It's really beautiful. I really like it. So it can be like what we call a positive feedback.
Yeah.
That's also completing.
Yeah, it also can be having some kind of negative experience with the person, but with not kind of apology from your side, but setting the boundaries or even giving a negative feedback.
Yes. So that's more delicate because we need to speak of responsibility.
Yeah. This is my favorite topic.
Yeah, because in relationships and in healing specifically, there are three, but let's say two things that are essential. One is vulnerability and one is responsibility. So I speak of vulnerability. I know that, and not only in Georgia, but a lot in Georgia, because you're strong. I say vulnerable and you hear weak. It's also in other countries, but here, because of your culture, it's really immediate.
Yeah.
So there are two words. They mean two different things. Vulnerable means being open, being honest, being transparent.
Like how to say, removing the walls of the box, right?
Yes.
Because you're not
I'm not protecting myself. I'm showing who I am, especially what I felt. Being vulnerable for us is sharing what we felt. So if someone did something, and it happens, that hurt me, now I am hurt because of my past. It's not out of nothing. It's in the box. It's something in the box that is responding to what the person said or did, or didn't say, or didn't do. So it's still me.
Yeah, it's about me.
If I had a different box and you did it, it wouldn't hook me.
Yeah.
It means it's not what you did or said. It's that I have a hot button for that specific thing. So this is taking responsibility. Understanding that I have the hot button. Another person doesn't have it. They don't care.
Because in the same situation, for example, at work, we have the moment, the situation where it doesn't go smoothly. And I observe that each one of us has a different, the trigger, the different response, different interpretation, what has happened.
Yes.
Someone will say, oh, they judged me. Someone will say they don't appreciate me. Someone will say, I don't know, I'm better than them. I don't know. It can be different. So it tells me that, it's about us.
It's about us.
Yeah.
So let's use an example of these that we use, because it really explains responsibility. It's two brothers, very close in age, 1.5 years, 2. Christmas Eve, parents decide to go out for dinner without them. They leave them with a nanny. They know her. I mean, it's not something new. Two different reactions. So the fact is the same. They do the same thing. But the two brothers translate this differently. One feels a great opportunity to, hooray! We are free. We can do what we want. And the other one feels abandoned. So this explains how it's not what they did. It's the hot button that I have that is responding differently. I have it, I don't have it, I am happy about it, I am sad about it. It's me. This is taking responsibility. If I feel bad, it's not because the other person did something. It's because I have a hot button for that thing. And the hot button is built through my history, and mainly in my first years. So if I get upset because you did something or you said something, it's not you. It's me. So when I heal, I need to be aware that what I'm healing is that hot button in myself that was activated by what you said.
And it has, there's a thin, thin line there. For me, for example, because several times when I tried to heal, I observed myself taking responsibility, in a different way, and mostly actually blaming myself. There's something happened between us, or let's say between me and my husband. I understood, I kind of analyzed, I somehow decided to heal this. I go to him and I say, this and that happened, and I'm taking responsibility on that part. But deep down, I'm blaming myself that I did it wrong, and I did something wrong. And it's very thin line to
Yes.
You know, and then you're becoming the one who is always blaming herself. And
So
it of course somehow helps the relationship because he's melted and you're also there. And it seems like everything is okay, but deep down, it's still something under the what?
carpet.
Carpet.
Yeah. So that goes back to judgment, right?
Yes.
Self judgment.
Judgment. Yeah.
Yeah.
That I
So
did something
for the
wrong.
people who have a tendency to self judge, it is a thin line, and I would say that for me, the what can help is really to look at it in a neutral way.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you judge, you're not neutral.
Yeah.
This is what happened. This is my system. It started. I felt judged because I have this hot button of being judged.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about you. It's just that my hot button was activated. And I take responsibility for it. But it's not my fault if we want to go there. You see, we need to be grateful to our survival system and say, it's my survival system who got activated. I don't have any fault in that because the survival system made me survive.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you. But part of the survival system is also to judge oneself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it is, it's an art.
It is. And I'm actually, I was not going to talk about this during the podcast, but it's popped up. This is something I'm experiencing now because my system and my box is very, it's driven with fuel. And this fuel comes from self-judgment. If there's something I didn't perform in the perfect way, I judge myself in some different ways, and it gives fuel to the...
It feeds it.
It feeds it, yeah. And then, of course, I achieve something, I make it perfect, I do this and that, but, then the life and the juiciness and the moment and the present moment and everything, it goes somewhere else. Yeah. So when I realized how much energy it's taking from me, I said, okay, it's enough. I don't want it. And especially I don't want it for my daughter because she's very young and I'm sure that she's kind of absorbing everything. I don't want it. There should be a different way of doing some things and even achieving and at the same time having this very fulfilling life. And it was just a decision. Okay, I want to try something, doing all these things in a different way. From time to time, and actually taking responsibility was the first point when it started. I remember it was in September. It was during our seminar Inside Now. I realized what actually it is to take the responsibility for your life. Before it was like, oh, I'm this kind of person. I have this kind of, flaws and traits. And
I'm done like this. I'm like this.
Yeah, I was born in such a, family and in the country. And these are the resources I have and et cetera, et cetera. So I was analyzing and I was realizing, but at the same time, it was not the inner movement that, this is my life. I decided. I have what I have decided up to now. And okay, if I want something different, then I can do it. So it was a really like a shift and like inner. And it also helped me to be more responsible in each situation. in the relationships, for example, like there's something happening and it's super easy to say that, oh, it's his fault or it's her fault or it's
so good also when it's their fault.
And so and also for me it's very easy to say that, oh, it was my fault. So it's like being on radical points of this, so it didn't help. But at some point I started, like, taking it as it is, and it helped me to also be to have a clear vision on the reality, like what's actually happening, not what's happening in my mind, but. And then when you have the clarity, you're more capable to address it and to take the best out of it and whatever you want.
I would really say, especially for those who tend to say, it's my fault, taking responsibility is not saying it's my fault.
Mm-hmm.
It's being aware that what happened because of my system, my survival system, my hot buttons, let's call them, my box. I don't know how to call them. It unfolded like that because of those, which is completely different than saying it's my fault.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I really want to make it clear, because I don't want people to understand, oh, I have to say it's my fault, it's me, it's me, it's me. It's not me, it's my box, which is different.
Mm-hmm.
And the box is made of these fear walls that have been built by myself in order to be safe. So this is one thing that is really important in relationships. Of course, it's difficult because it's so much easier and more pleasant to say it's them, it's the other one, it's him, it's her.
But at the same time, from my experience, when I had these true healing moments, it's real difficult to explain it in words, but when I did it, and especially in the moments when it was not easy, like it was painful, and my mind was telling me that it's his fault or it's her fault. When I kind of went through this fear and was vulnerable and I took responsibility and etc., I felt like I was alive.
Yes.
It's I don't know how to explain it. Maybe you,
I don't know either, somehow... because you know how it is difficult to describe this state out of the box. But there is something I wanted to connect. I said before 2 or 3 things. Now let me add the third thing, because I think it's connected to what you say. To do this, to do the healing, which means to take responsibility and to be vulnerable, you need to have courage.
Mm-hmm.
Now, courage comes from the Latin. Cor, the first part, means heart.
Mm-hmm.
So courage means acting from the heart.
Yeah.
That's why you feel alive. Because until the heart is beating, you are alive.
Yeah.
So courage is really acting from your heart, and that's where you felt alive. Because in the box, which is the box of survival, you're not living, you are surviving.
Yeah.
Now you do it so much that you don't understand anymore that you are surviving. But when you have these experiences, then you see the difference.
Yeah.
That's why you feel, oh, this is being alive.
Yeah.
This is life. So it's not only for relationships. It's also for health. Because the chemicals you experience when you are in fear, which means you're in your box, safe, put in your box are not life chemicals. The life chemicals are outside of the box. So that's where you heal. Also relationships, but also your body.
Yeah.
So that's where healing is, really. So it takes responsibility, vulnerability. Just share how you felt, which doesn't mean the other person did it to you, but it's how you felt with what happened.
Yeah.
And be aware it's your survival system that made you react and feel hurt. Not you, not the person, but still it is your survival system. So that's why you take responsibility. And courage.
And I would add one more thing. So expectations. Like, okay, now I'm going to heal the relationship, and somewhere deep down you have this expectation that the person with whom you're doing it should also do it, and I don't know if there is something to apologize or something, they will do it. This is a tricky thing for me personally. When I do it, somehow if I expect that something specific from the person and it doesn't happen, then it doesn't go well.
Yes. So expectations are in the box. It means I'm doing it, but I expect you to do something for me.
Yeah.
Now, the healing is a gift, a real gift. It means that I offer this to both. It's a gift for myself because I heal what triggered me. You can, like you make gifts. Sometimes they don't like the gift you offer.
My husband.
I really, when I go around with my husband, he says, oh, look, because I like colors, I like flowers. And he shows me things, clothes or whatever. Look. And I say, oh, lucky I am that you're not buying them because they're awful, So if he would give me that gift, I would not like it. Yeah. So how can I say, if I'm true, I cannot say, oh, how nice, and I never wear it. So if you give a true gift, you accept that they say thank you, they don't say thank you, they like it, they don't like it, they don't even open it, or they sell it or they use it to gift it to someone else, which might appreciate it more actually. So a gift is really from me without expectation, the real gift. So healing is a gift, and it's a gift for both. So if there is an expectation, it's still in the box. Yeah. So it's really important to understand I am healing myself in this. You cannot heal because we need to understand that each person has a survival system. The other person in front of me is also defending, protecting themselves. They have also, she's not respecting me, she's not listening to me, she's not obeying me, because some have that, they want that they say something that you do it.
Yeah, you follow.
That, you don't discuss, you don't. So if you don't obey, they feel not loved because that's the thread.
Yeah.
So we need to remember there is a human being in front of me who also has a survival system. And if they are reacting, it means I did something that activated one of their buttons. So even if they answer, the response to your healing is not the one you could hope, you do your part. Each one is responsible for their part. And even if they don't, you can say, I understand that this was hard for you too. And I hope we can find closeness again. Mm-hmm. This is being vulnerable, because this is what I want. Healing is very important. In doing the healing, to be clear on what kind of relationship you want.
Yeah.
So if I want a close, supportive, loving, fun, I don't know,
Yeah.
Find, I would say this to each person, for each relationship you have, find 3-5 adjectives that define the kind of relationship, not that you want to have, but that you want to build from your side. Then you will check with the other person what kind of relationship they want to build. Some adjectives will match, some will be different. And that's the beauty of the relationship, finding a space where to meet and enrich with the diversity, the relationship and the life. Because I would say, we go back to the female cell and male cell meeting, and that's already a relationship. And without that, there is no baby. And from there, the baby meets the mother and starts the relationship with the outside world, which is the mother, but then it would be the rest. And so I would say life is relationships. I would say so, because it starts like this.
Yeah.
And you see, even breathing for me is a relationship. Breath is strictly connected to life, right?
Yeah.
So you breathe out, you offer something of yourself. You breathe in, you take inside yourself.
From
the others and from outside. And breathing is life, and it is a relationship with inside, outside. Yeah. And I would add something else on that.
Because you know that we are finishing.
Yeah, it's the last thing.
Yeah.
I think the most important relationship to be nourished is the relationship with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If that is not nourished, there is no way you can have nourishing relationships with other human beings, because you will always be in lack of something. So personal mastery is also to learn to nourish and respect the relationship with yourself, your true self.
Yeah. I think this is a beautiful
ending
for this beautiful podcast. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
At some point, I really forgot that we had the cameras somewhere here.
Yes.
And the guy sitting here.
Yes.
So,
I also enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.